What's good? It's Wood. I want to talk a little bit about Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. First round knockout. The Bomb Squad is apparently back in a real way as the Bronze Bomber returned to the ring. By the way, the reason I'm wearing a Public Enemy shirt is because the production team of Public Enemy, especially their early work, was the Bomb Squad. But Deontay Wilder, how the hell do you hit that hard? Like, we knew that he just had a mega right hand. And I mean, we've seen him display it like early in fights against Dominic Brazil and just, put people clean out. Artur Szpilka, what he did to opponent after opponent after opponent. So this is his return to the ring after getting stopped in back-to-back fights versus the Gypsy King, the current WBC champion, undefeated Tyson Fury. This is his return to the ring. Deontay Wilder is about 37 years old right now. So most thought that he was going to knock Robert Helenius out. I thought that he was going to maybe have some issues in the first, couple of rounds. I thought that it might go into like the fourth or fifth round. But, there's a lot of question. Hey, can Deontay Wilder still take a punch? Does he still have an appetite to fight, to be a warrior, to dig deep, all these different things? Well, I thought he moved around the ring pretty well. And, perhaps he has, maybe he has subtly been improving his boxing skills, but maybe fighting a guy like Tyson Fury isn't the fight where you're able to showcase those types of gains because of how much of a physical anomaly and a technical anomaly Tyson Fury is, right? Maybe he's just not the right guy to show these improvements against. Same thing with Anthony Joshua. Maybe he is getting to be a better all-around technical boxer. Well, Alexander Usyk is a tough opponent to look super technical against. But my God, that right hand, and it was so fast. People thought that this thing was a fix. Like, I saw a lot of activity on Twitter and such saying that this thing, the punch didn't really land, that it was a setup. Maybe you need to slow the tape up and look at how that right hand landed. But it was fast. It was sudden. He was trying to get, as he said, Robert Helenius to reach, which Helenius was a little bit reckless. At least in that moment he was. But Deontay Wilder, it didn't take much. And I remember, when Deontay Wilder was still like an undefeated champion, right? Even before the first time he fought Tyson Fury, when we all wanted to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, and they were both undefeated champions, and once upon a time, they were both undefeated champions who had won all of their fights via knockout. They had a 100% knockout percentage, both of them. And I remember thinking, like, who is the harder puncher between the two? Like, I know, Anthony Joshua has more two-fisted power, whereas Deontay Wilder is more reliant on landing that bomb of a right hand, even though he did hurt Eric Molina with a sweeping left hook. Well, I think you would have to say Deontay Wilder has, noticeably the greater punching power between the two. Like, let me ask you, would Kubrat Pulev have lasted that long against Deontay Wilder? I just don't see him taking several right hands and still hanging around. Deontay Wilder, I've never seen anything like it. Like, it's a super short list of people who could decimate you with one punch to that degree. I mean, Deontay Wilder was losing just about every round in that rematch against Luis Ortiz until he landed that right hand and the fight's over, just like that. And it's not only the way he knocked Robert Helenius out, but look at Robert Helenius on the ground where he looks like he can't move. He is on the ground. He is mentally lucid, but he can't do anything but just stay there with his eyes open, just looking like he's immobile from the neck down. It's a scary type of knockout. Like, think Ricky Hatton getting knocked out by Manny Pacquiao or Amir Khan getting knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. You're just motionless. And again, it was just that one right hand. And I like Deontay Wilder's lateral movement. We'll see. And he whacked to Helenius' body a couple times. He even shot the right hand to the body a couple of times. I thought he, managed his distance and range pretty well. I like the way that he, made Helenius keep on patiently following him around and then trying to, drop the bombs selectively. But, I mean, damn. So this looks like it's going to be setting up a Deontay Wilder fight, perhaps against Andy Ruiz. It's an easy, quote-unquote, easy fight to make promotionally. They're both with PBC. And, Andy Ruiz might win the fight. Andy Ruiz is a very good fighter, very good boxer, fast hands. But, would you bet on Andy Ruiz right now against Deontay Wilder? I mean, keep this in mind. For all the arguments about Deontay Wilder's legacy, is he a Hall of Famer? Was he a great champion? Has he fought or beaten enough great fighters to be considered a great fighter? Well, I mean, you can't have it both ways. Like, if the Gypsy King is a great fighter, well, he outboxed Klitschko to earn the belt at first before retiring for multiple years, right? Like 3+ years. But he also, aside from the Dillian White knockout, he hangs his career's hat on being the guy who dethroned Deontay Wilder, really. Like, it's that trilogy and Tyson Fury's performances in those 3 fights that make him a legendary fighter. So if those are the fights that are his biggest calling card, well, you can't then in the same breath call Deontay Wilder a bum. You get what I'm saying? So Deontay Wilder, if you take those 3 fights out with Tyson Fury, the first being a controversial draw and the 2 other fights being 2 stoppage losses, Deontay Wilder would still have a spotless record. And I get it, like, that's a big if, right? But he's knocked out Luis Ortiz twice. He's now knocked out Robert Helenius. He stopped Chris Arreola. So he's got a few decent wins and good wins. But again, like, the only person who has blemished his record to date is the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. So we really have to be mindful when we evaluate Deontay Wilder's abilities, his performances, and his overall career. But again, he looks like he's about to go into this fight with Andy Ruiz. I mean, who do you think is going to win between those two? And again, look, if he had like A- level punching power, I would still maybe say Andy Ruiz. But this is like A++ punching power. This is really like kind of just unbelievably, like, it's really astounding. Like, I'm kind of at a loss for words in terms of how hard this guy is punching with that right hand. Like, it's really one of those just one-hitter quitters. And, not for nothing, he did knock Tyson Fury down twice in 2 different fights. He's knocked Tyson Fury down 4 times. And then he's knocked, again, all of his other opponents out. Yes, he did have that first decision win over Bermane Stiverne when he first earned that WBC belt. But everything else has been a knockout win in his entire career. That's pretty remarkable. So, yeah, let me know what you thought of Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. Again, Robert Helenius was coming off of his best 2 career wins. Those 2 stoppages of the previously, undefeated Adam Kownacki. So, yes, Robert Helenius has had a suspect chin. He's, been stopped by Duhaupas, by Gerald Washington. So he does have a questionable chin. But boy, Deontay Wilder has a way of just putting your lights out, regardless of who you are. So we'll see if they, in fact, make this Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz Jr. matchup. But check this out. Deontay Wilder could still salvage a career. And not that his career needed salvaging. Like, he's had a good career to date. But he could truly parlay that into a great career if his fight trajectory looks something like, okay, he's got this knockout over Helenius in the books. If he could beat Andy Ruiz and then fight either Anthony Joshua or Alexander Usyk and perhaps win against one of those 2 guys, that is then a Hall of Fame career. But yeah, I thought that this fight was going to go a couple rounds, at least like into like the 3rd, maybe 4th round. It did not. Deontay Wilder's power is looking as special as ever, and we'll see how many other tools he has acquired in his time working with Malik Scott. I mean, maybe Robert Helenius was like the perfect opponent. I don't want to discredit Deontay Wilder's win. Helenius is a good, not great, but pretty good fighter. In fact, this would rank what? After the draw against Tyson Fury, the first fight, the draw where he, scored 2 knockdowns, and then the 2 wins over Luis Ortiz, would this knockout over Helenius be his next best win, or would his win perhaps against Chris Arreola be Wilder's next best win? Or maybe even the knockout against Dominic Breazeale. I don't know. Like, let me know what you thought of this performance against Robert Helenius, and how do you size up Deontay Wilder's career as a whole? Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Wood. Thanks for tuning in.